Mudashiru Obasa, the former Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, was impeached on January 13, 2025, due to gross allegations of gross misconduct and abuse of office. The impeachment was swift and unanimous, with 90% of the lawmakers voting to remove him from office. Obasa's impeachment was reportedly linked to his 2027 gubernatorial ambition, with which, of course, he had created tension within his party. His leadership style was also criticized, with some lawmakers accusing him of being an authoritarian and perpetually late to sessions. The former speaker was replaced by his deputy, Mojisola Meranda, who became the first female speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly. Now, Obasa, however, remains a member of the House representing Agege constituency. The impeachment process has raised questions about his legality, with some analysts arguing that it was not concluded in accordance with the Constitution. The process typically requires a written notice of allegations, a defense by the accused, and a two-thirds majority vote. Obasa's impeachment has also sparked debates about the use of impeachment as a tool for accountability or power play in Nigerian politics. While some argue it is necessary to uphold public officials accountable, others see it as a means for politicians to settle scores and consolidate power. Well, joining me in the studio live to discuss this is Bestman Nze-Jumbo, is the president of Team Nigeria for Change. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
It's great.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I was about saying that. It's great having you in the studio again. Let me start with your general perspective as regards, what Nigerians, particularly Lagosians, witnessed recently at the State House of Assembly, where a now former speaker, was impeached, even though he wasn't even around. Some said it wasn't even in the country.
Yeah, the information has it that he's in the United States. General feeling, it's democracy. Impeachment is a legal tool, once done the right way in a democracy. Then I also noticed that it came without rancor. There was no protests. There were no agitations in the House. I think it was out of 40, 32 signed, and some of those that didn't even sign were not in Nigeria. So it had too much of support to elicit any rancor or misgivings. So it tends to be, it was like a popular decision among members of the House.
I mean, for some political pundits, they said, even though, yes, a bulk of the House did want him out from that position, but in terms of due process, as to was he even aware of these allegations, was he given time to defend himself? Looking at the style, some would say it sort of seemed like a democratic coup of some sort.
Oh, well, I'm not somebody who runs down anybody. But the truth of the matter is, I also know some time ago the EFCC had issues with the speaker, and how it was settled. We thought it was settled, but in recent time, I heard that even the EFCC is still back on its trail. I also know that in terms of process, when you want the constitutional provision for impeachment of a governor is different from that of a speaker, because in the House, the speaker is just first among equals. Nobody was elected a speaker from his constituency. Everybody came into the House as a member of the State House of Assembly, representing your constituency. Now, members now decided on their own to pick somebody who will be first among them. I don't think, when you want to impeach a governor, you send a notice to him to defend himself. I don't think that particular process is applicable with the speaker. In as much as I know that there must be fair trial and somebody must be able to defend himself. But we don't know, based on the fact that there have been EFCC
cases.
EFCC is noticing around him for some time. Probably is that opportunity to defend himself on that. But the other allegations they probably had against him might not necessarily go through that process, which you and I know the impeachment of a governor or the executive takes.
I mean, let's talk about the person of Mudashiru Obasa. We know that is a Nigerian politician that, served as Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly since 2015.
Yeah.
Born, in Agege, practically grew up there, nursed the political ambition there, and is representing that particular constituency. Let's fast forward to some of the allegations right now. Gross misconduct, financial, misappropriation. Some even say that he disrespected the governor of the state on multiple fronts.
I have this belief, and I think I'm right. When you are vindictive, you can't go far. When you don't have the spirit of, let me use as in Christian parlance, the spirit of forgiveness, or to let go, you do yourself in eventually. Just like when Governor Ambode was there, you notice that he had frictions with the former governor Fashola, and every structure of Fashola had to go, which affected people like us who worked with Fashola then. Now, what we heard about Obasa, that he had issues with the governor. What is that issue that you have with the governor that will make you disrespect the office of the #1 man in the state? Humility should roll in on you for you to know that, even where I'm occupying, I'm only first among equals. Could it be because he has stayed for too long? Maybe there's a bloated impression of himself? Because you and I cannot establish the accusation about financial impropriety, other than we heard that he built a gatehouse for 17 billion. We don't know how true that is. That will be left for the auditors and the EFCC to know what to do. But even if we wanted to say, was he really in insubordination to the governor? Was he really disrespectful to the governor? Even if we want to put in a word for him to say, we're not sure. What played out on the day of the presentation of the 2025 appropriation bill, tends to support that line of thought. When we kept the deputy governor, members of the GAC, leaders of the party, chairman of the party, for close to 3-4 hours, like we read. Then when the governor even came in, he was also kept there for close to an hour. Who does that? Who does that? There was also this insinuation, this accusation that even somebody was on the floor talking when the governor came in. And the guy said he had to pause to respect the governor, and that how true, I don't know, because I didn't see it myself, that even the speaker was like, don't worry, continue, we'll have time to recognize the governor. There were lots of such accusations. If indeed true, he was only bidding time. There was no way he would have been there, because don't forget, the governor is the governor. He's the #1 man. Even in that house, you have someone who is one man that people love because of his humility. He has won so many battles via humility. So if indeed Obasa was having issues with him, he was going to lose.
We are going to also talk about what some would say, subtle declaration of an ambition, his ambition to want to run for the top job in the state. But before we get to that, let's look at all of these political dynamics, particularly between the governor and who is the executive. And Obasa then is positioned being the head of the legislature. Some will say in a democracy, the legislature is meant to serve as some sort of checks and balance for the executive. Even though, yes, their relationship should be cordial, there should also be some level of, what I call it, healthy frost.
Yeah.
So, I mean, wouldn't you also want to say that that sort of played out, given the fact that, yes, you are the executive, you're the #1 man in the state, people voted you in, you are the, I call it the chairman of the state, but we have a responsibility to also put you to check, and it doesn't mean that we need to cow to you all the time.
Which they've done over the years. It's not only the Obasa legislature that would be portrayed as having doing that. You and I know that you are a check and a balance on the executive doesn't make you a hindrance, doesn't make you a clog in the wheel of development.
So it was a clog?
No, I didn't say that. I'm not saying.
Okay.
Inferring that. Now, if the legislature and the executive cannot find a common ground to work on the theme of development for the state, then there's a problem. So if the legislature decides that this is a budget, for example, we've presented it, it's the job of the legislature to scrutinize it. So if you come back to tell us that we've scrutinized this budget, so amounts shouldn't be here, there are some things you didn't take care of, the people of the state will be happy to say, yeah, you are doing your job. But when the reason for the friction tends to be personal, tends to be flimsy, people will read meanings to it.
Okay, so, I mean, there are talks that, for instance, sometimes some of the nominations of the governor was stalled by him, and that maybe that also contributed to what happened recently, that's his impeachment. When
you come public to tell Lagosians that governor submitted 10 names for commissioners, we found out that 2 of them are not qualified. 2 of them do not have the interest of the party at heart. 2 of them can't do this job. The people will listen. But if your excuse is, it took so many people from this country, my own constituency was not fully represented, it becomes personal. It becomes flimsy. Because let it be that you're dropping them on the ground of incompetence. And that's what I'm saying. It's not a thing of joy to say, Obasa did that. No. I'm taking it based on your question. Mm-hmm. More often than not, we should have a situation where our differences should be factual, based on issues. He was saying about his political ambition, that probably because he wanted to be governor. Every person has a right to aspire to the highest office in the state, as the case may be, Lagos State for now. Nobody will stop the speaker if he has an ambition to be governor. We saw a speaker, former Honorable Kuforiji. He ran for governor, he contested in primaries and lost. So I don't think it was because
of that statement. I want to, I don't know if my producers have that clip on. I mean, if they do, I would believe they'll communicate that, to me, so that we can, sort of play it back for Nigerians. Because
you want to go to where he said,
yes, those that had been,
were not better than him.
Exactly. I mean, it said a lot of things subtly. If you decode it, it sounded like, look,
those in glass houses
exactly shouldn't throw stones, and it's pretty much qualified. And there also talks around the first son of the country, running for the same job, even though it's not been official, but there are groups and right groups saying that he might also run for that. So do you think that particular statement was the last nail to his coffin as speaker?
You see, the Holy Book says, wise is the man who knows what to say, but when not to say it. Like I said, he is qualified to run for governor. The first one, Sheyi Tinubu,
yes,
is qualified to run for governor. You might just be qualified. I might be qualified to run. So there's no one person can tell you don't run when you make up your mind to run.
But looking at the political hierarchy in Lagos.
I keep saying one thing. Marketing can never be divorced from the cultural and social realities of a people. You must take into consideration your environment before you market. You must take into consideration your political environment before you do something. Now, the issue was not because you wanted to be governor. A lot of people found at that statement that, hey, even those who had been are not better than him. Among those who had been is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Among those that have been is Mojisola Meranda. Among those that have been is Lateef Jakonde. Among those that have been is Ambode. Now on the seat now is Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu. And you are saying nobody is better than you because we are the same in the eyes of God. But my brother should get size when it comes to the content of our brains, the constitution of our personalities, and what we can deliver by reason of those things. For you to say that, in quote, people close to Asiwaju feel insulted, even if Asiwaju doesn't feel, because you are a man, he's a man, but those close to him feel insulted. And I felt that was wrong. When you also drew, and you chose a very auspicious day, the day that focus was on the House, the presentation of the 2025 appropriation bill, and you were sending innuendos, those that live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. I mean, there are things that maturity should dictate to us.
Let's talk about the new Speaker of the House. But I understand we need to go on a quick break. When we return, we'll definitely pick up. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. This, of course, is still Politics HQ on New Central Television, and we are looking at Lagos politics, the recent impeachment of the Speaker of the House, that's Mudashiru Obasa, and, of course, the new Speaker, Mojisola Meranda. I still have my guest with me, Bestman. Thank you for staying with me. Now, let's talk about the new Speaker, Mojisola Meranda. She was his vice. Right now, she's presiding over a house on that very, what I call it, delicate atmosphere. Given the fact that she served under the impeached Speaker, she's the Speaker now. For some, they will say it looks like, loyalty might be divided, and she might just have to manage a house that maybe just a little divided. What do you see in the coming days for her, and what areas do you think she needs to address?
When you say preside over a house that loyalty might be divided between who and who?
Some people that may still, maybe not explicitly declare that, they have loyal to the former Speaker.
In a house that over 90%.
But for politics, they choose to be anonymous.
In a house that over 90-something% signed for the former Speaker to be removed. I don't think, in Lagos politics, I tend to think loyalty is to the party.
Than the individual.
Let's be objective. You look at, of course, for a long time, the party probably was embedded in the personality of an individual. But over time, the decisions are taken collectively. If you notice during Ambode's time too, the moment the leadership of the party said move this way, the people followed. So I don't see any divided loyalty in a house where out of 40, 32 people signed to impeach the Speaker.
So you're saying in no way she's not standing on eggshells?
If she stands on eggshells, probably it has to do with other reasons or other things, because I also don't see it as a matter of capacity. Because while Obasa held sway, she was deputy speaker. And for you to be deputy, it suggests that you could also be speaker, because you must preside when the speaker is not around, or is not available, or is even incapacitated, or impeached, as the case turned out to be. So I don't think she has any issues with loyalty, because the House was total and unanimous in their decision to impeach the former speaker. So if there are issues that could come up, other things outside of loyalty, which we don't know. But so far, so good.
What do you foresee as the political journey for, Honorable Mudashiru Obasa now, given all of this that has happened? For some, they say maybe this is the end of the road, but is it?
No, you can never say never. And again, these are human beings. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a human being. Babajide Sanwo-Olu is a human being. The GAC members are people with blood in their veins. If he retraces his step and probably represents himself, say, I'm sorry, there must just be a way. But that, don't forget, he was only impeached as speaker. He's still the authentic representative of the Agege constituency in the House. And they never suspended him from being, the House has the power to suspend you from being a member of the House. But in this case, they never did. So he's supposed to come back, take his seat as representative of Agege constituency in the House. So his case is not that bad.
Not that bad?
It's not that bad.
Even though it's bad, but not so bad.
Even though it's bad because of the accusations against him. But outside of the impeachment, he was not suspended. He is still the member representing Agege constituency in the House.